Hello friends, welcome to Spice, Dice and Everything Nice. Today we are going to cook a very simple chicken curry which is otherwise known as the Dhaba chicken, and I'm going to share with you all the ingredients. I have about half a kilo of chicken, that's about 500 grams of chicken, cut into fairly decent cubes and marinated in ginger garlic paste, turmeric, chili powder, coriander powder and salt. You just need to add about 1 teaspoon of all of the powders, 1 teaspoon of salt, and about 1 teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. I've marinated it for about 3 hours. Other than that, the ingredients that I need, the masalas, are any kind of meat masala that you might have. I don't care what it is, any meat masala. If you don't have that, just plain old garam masala powder is okay. Kashmiri mirch. I have about 1.5 onions cut, diced into not super fine but just diced. I have about 1 capsicum that I cut into whatever shape you want. I just cut into triangles. I have about 2.5 Roma tomatoes that I pureed. I have some green chilies, about 5 of those that I have just cut into small pieces. A little bit of coriander for garnish. Then I have some masalas here, of which I'm going to just use the Shahi Jeera, a cinnamon stick, a 1-inch cinnamon stick. I'm going to use about 4 or 5 cardamom pods, 4 or 5 cloves, and then I have some ginger garlic paste that I'm going to use. I also have some salt, some turmeric, and some yogurt. I'm going to use about half a cup to 1 cup of yogurt in this recipe. So friends, this is a 2-step recipe. It's very simple, but there are 2 steps involved in this recipe. The first step is I added about 1.5 teaspoons of oil. I've added about 1.5 teaspoons of oil or so, 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of oil. And what you need to do at that point is just add the marinated chicken. And we're not going to do anything else, just marinated chicken. It's cut into fairly decent size. I am going to initially fry the chicken, and we keep that aside once it is fried. That's the whole idea. So this should take, you're not going to fully fry the chicken, you're just going to make sure that it has a crust that forms, and keep it at medium high, and just make sure that once you drop it in, mix it up a little bit. It is going to leave a little bit of water, it's okay. You don't need to fry it fully, just make sure that there is some crust that the chicken develops, and then I will show you how that is in about 5 to 6 minutes. Okay friends, so the chicken's been cooking for about 5 minutes in high heat, and what I've used here, by the way, is chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. The best chicken curry is made with chicken on the bone, and you've got to do this. It doesn't leave as much water as this would, but still, if you're using the boneless chicken, the chicken with bone, do the same thing. Or even if you're using chicken breast, do the same thing. You're not going to go wrong with it. You're just giving it a light sear, and the masalas start seeping into the chicken. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this chicken out. You're not frying it. You're not trying to get a bad, brown sear or anything on it. You're just giving it, it starts cooking on the outside, and so it will retain a lot of juices inside. So at this point, I'm going to basically transfer this over and keep it for when the gravy is ready for the chicken. Okay friends, so I've taken the chicken out and I've kept it right here in a bowl. And then I added about 2 tablespoons of oil into the same pan, which I have not cleaned or anything. You need the goodness of the masalas from there. The very first thing I add is some raw garam masalas. So the first thing that goes in is about half a teaspoon or so of Shahi Jeera. I eyeball most of my stuff, as you know, about 4 cloves, about 3 ilaichis, 1-inch piece of cinnamon. And the second thing that goes along with it are my green chilies. Just mix them up a little bit. It's okay for some of your masalas in the pan to be a little brown. Your onion is going to take care of getting that out. Your gravy will get that out in no time. Okay, so now just toss it around a little bit, and the first thing you add is your onions. And what I typically end up doing with the onions is I am going to add a little bit of salt, let the onions cook quickly, and just add about half a teaspoon of salt to this. Remember, your chicken has some salt. Add about half a teaspoon of salt to this. Toss it around. And what we are going to do right now is reduce the flame a little bit. You would notice that as we fry the onions, it's going to take a lot of masalas from the sides, and the salt will let the onions cook really well as well. Cook this for about 5 to 7 minutes and then add some of the rest of the ingredients, and I'll show you that in about 5 minutes or so. So it's been about 5 minutes of the chicken frying. What I'm going to do is now add a few masalas to the mix, and I'll show you what we need and what's the sequence really. The first thing I add is about half a teaspoon of turmeric, and then I add about 1 teaspoon or a little more than 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili. I'm eyeballing it. I would say add about 1.5 teaspoons of Kashmiri red chilies. It's mainly for the color, right? It gives that deep, rich red color. And then I'm adding some of the meat masala, about 1 teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoons of the meat masala. That's it. Again, I eyeballed it. 1.5 teaspoons is good. Mix this up just a little bit, and then also add a teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. Actually, I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. I love the taste of ginger and garlic. So add about 2 teaspoons. We already have some ginger garlic paste in the chicken, but that's okay. And just fry this for about 2 minutes, really not more than 2 minutes, so that the raw smell of the ginger garlic goes away. Just a couple of minutes, alright, so you see how the masalas have started sticking to the pan. This is the right point. Add your tomato puree. Okay, mix it up immediately. You see that the masalas are actually starting to come off the pan as well, so it's pretty good right there. Now what we do is we're going to let this cook in high flame for about 7-8 minutes until you start seeing the oil come out. That's all it needs. And what we'll do is we can actually put a lid on it so that it doesn't start bubbling up. Let this cook on high. Stir it maybe every minute or so once, just so that it doesn't start getting caught onto the pan. And I'll show it to you in about 5 minutes or so. So it's been about I would say 8 minutes or so been frying this. Notice that some of the water has left. I'm not looking for a lot of oil to come out. You look at the edges, there's some oil. I'm just mixing it up. Even if it doesn't, it is okay. What I'm going to do next is I am going to add about 4 spoons of yogurt. 4 to 5 spoons of yogurt is what I'm going to add. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 spoons of yogurt. Okay, so right after you add the yogurt, reduce the heat, mix it up vigorously for just about 30 seconds. Normally people would try and beat the yogurt before they add it into this mixture. I have not done that, so that's why I'm trying to do this right now. And what we are going to do right after this is again increase the heat to high and cook this down until the moisture from the yogurt leaves the pan. So we're just going to increase it and cook it for about 5-7 minutes on high, And I'm not going to close the pan at this point because I want the moisture to evaporate. So, and I will show you that in about 5 to 7 minutes. In about 10 minutes of cooking, you see how all the water is evaporated. This is exactly where I need it to be. Now, I reintroduce the chicken into the gravy, right? I put all the chicken back with whatever little water or, whatever you had before. Just take that out. Put the chicken back into the mix. Now what we need to do to this is you've got to add about 1.5 cups of water to the chicken, and this has to cook unattended for about a half hour on low flame. That's the whole idea. So right now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of water to this. So we are trying to quicken the process. In your house, leave this on low flame half an hour. I have left it on high flame. It's been about 15 minutes. I've mixed it a few times. And this is the point when you add your capsicum, because we want the capsicum to stay a little bit crunchy, and that's the why we add it at the very end. So I'm going to add the capsicum into the mix. And what we are going to do is, at this point, do not close the lid. If you close the lid, the capsicum will become mushy, right? So you just put the capsicum in, leave it for maybe about 5 minutes or so, and not more than 5, and your final product is ready. There is a small twist in the tail at the very end, and I will show you that in 5 minutes. Okay friends, it's been about 5 minutes. Notice I'm not letting the capsicum cook to its entirety. I want that crunch. So I told you there are a couple of things that I'm going to do, which are the twist in the tail. First of all, right, this is not the twist in the tail. I'm going to add the coriander, the entire cilantro. More the cilantro, the merrier. I love cilantro in my cooking, and this is mixed up right now. What I'm going to do is, this is basically the twist in the tail. The very end, I'm going to add just a tad bit of garam masala, just to finish it up. Okay, not too much, just a tad bit, maybe 1/4 teaspoon of garam masala. Mix this up, and what I am also going to do right now is I'm going to add about a teaspoon of butter. Alright, a little bit more than a teaspoon of butter. And let that be as it is. Mix it up after it melts. But this is your typical dhaba chicken curry. It is ready, and it will be brilliant with either parathas or with rice. Make a jeera pulao and you will love this. Thank you all. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, and do like the video. Thank you.